Happy Thursday to everyone, and we are continuing on down the trail. We're ready to track. Captain's ready to track. Today, the next step that we're going to take is to slowly move behind our dogs. In other words, in the previous tracks, you've seen me be up here right next to Captain, kind of guiding them along the way, keeping them from turning around, backtracking, looking for a sign on the track, going forward, tracking heel to toe. Now, in a tracking competition, if you were to pursue a certificate or a title in tracking, like for example with the AKC, you will have to be a minimum of 20 to 30 feet behind the dog. So therefore, you cannot be up there next to the dog, guiding the dog like we've been doing up to this point. Now, in this video today, I'm not sure if Captain will allow me to get that far back. So if he doesn't, I'll move up there next to him, and then I'll just keep trying over and over again to see if he'll move down the trail on his own. But that is a major step that you'll have to achieve before you're ready to move on to the next things. Tomorrow, we'll be wrapping up our tracking series by talking about articles, how to indicate on articles left on the track. And by then, your dog should be tracking another person, no longer tracking yourself. Okay, so for today's track, I've got 2 equal legs and one 90-degree turn. Again, you go for a certificate, they will have a minimum of 1 to 2 90-degree turns. That's really about it. But the length is 400 to 500 yards. So think about that. That's a long ways, a lot longer than what we're going to do today. Hey, if I turned that on and you had to watch that, you'd be here for a while. So we'll just go over it nice and short legs. Let's see if we can get to that next step where I can get behind Captain, which means he's really doing this on his own. You guys ready? Let's do it. Come on, cow dog. Okay, my starting flag is right here. Right there, as you see on the ground. I am going to walk up to him and tell him to track at the starting flag, and then we'll move on. Typically in competitions, you'll have another flag about 30 feet away, and that is to let you know the direction of the track. It is going that way. Then after that, for the remaining 400 to 500 yards, you're on your own. All right, cow dog, let's do it, buddy. Ready? Track. Now I'm going to start off right next to him because he's so new at this. I'm just kind of fast forwarding for your benefit. Now when you let your dog out ahead of you, just let the line slide through your hands. Now you can see I'm fully behind him. Remember, it's okay for him to go off the track about a foot or two. Again, that's touching those corridors, feeling the wall as you move along that dark corridor. He's doing a beautiful job. I put the treats today about every 4 to 6 footsteps. That's too far out. Track. And back on the track. Again, no more than about a foot or two. That's it. Trying to get further and further back. I'm now approaching the first turn in about 4 feet. We are at the first turn. Beautiful. No, track. No. Track. No. Track. If he misses it at this stage of the game, you missed a tree. You don't get to go back for it. So I'm going to move up here and get him restarted. Track. Start, track. Anytime he starts to go in these 360-degree circles here, make sure you just restart the dog. Okay, and also at the very end of the track, I lay a big handful of treats. Always something very rewarding at the end of the track. But speaking of that, let me get Captain off real quick. Free, Cattle Dog, free. Good job. Speaking at the end of the track, do me a favor. Don't pull a ball. Captain loves his ball. He loves it. And that means long before he gets to the ball, there could be an odor plume coming off of it, which in all these years, he has located that ball using both his nose and his eyes. When he gets close enough to it, when he gets a certain concentration of the odor, you'll see him lift his head. You've seen it in previous videos, and he'll hone in on it using his eyes. Again, that is perfectly fine for search and rescue work. Perfectly fine. You lift your head, you see the lost person, go for it. But if you wish, and you kind of have to decide, and you can have your cake and eat it too. My police dog Yager was certified at the various terrain level in the AKC and also in the Shoots and 2 level for tracking. He had the ability to compete, but also the ability to find people. Just do me a favor, make sure anything at the end of your track is not something that the dog is going to immediately lift their head and charge after it if your intentions are to compete with your dog. If they're going to compete, they gotta keep their nose to the ground. Otherwise, they could fly past an article. And once you fail to indicate on an article, it is over. That is it for your tracking experience on that day. And I'm telling you, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, trying to even sign up for a tracking event is very difficult. In most cases, it's a lottery system. You've got more people trying to get certifications than you actually have the ability to have tracking officials or judges and the wide open space it requires. Think about that. For just a TD, it's a 400 to 500 yard track. And those don't allow cross tracks. You're not allowed to go across it. So that has to be in a wide open, uncontaminated area. Imagine that. They're not going to allow 100 people to do TDs. You just don't have enough wide open space to do it and be able to maintain control of the entire event. So guys, practice hard. Practice hard. This is fundamental tracking. This is way ahead of where Captain should be, but I was proud of him. For the most part, he allowed me to get about 4 or 5 feet behind him. All training, whether it's obedience, whether it's tracking, is an evolution. At any given moment during your training, you should always be evaluating, where is the new point A? Where is it? Is it further ahead than where yesterday's point A was? Or is it further back? Make your adjustment to that. As long as you're seeing some forward progress, it's not just keeps going back, then go with it. Go with it. Typically, a dog that I'm training to track and track reliably for competition has done well over 100 tracks before I even attempt to go behind that. But I'm a little bit more thorough than the average guy. I just am. I don't allow big mistakes. I believe in start right, end right. I'm just thorough. But experiment. This is what your dog is like, not a life-ending event for you, but as being in law enforcement and training dogs for other law enforcement agencies, it was. The dogs had to be extremely proficient at tracking. His lives depended on it. So good, I'm really happy with Cattle Dog today. I think he did a really great job. Biggest thing to take away from that also is if they kind of get a little lost or they're wondering, what are you doing back there? You've always been up here next to me. I've always either been in a heel or something like that. What the heck are you doing back there? Restart. Restart. Continually restart. Refocus, restart. This will grow, and when it takes off, the next issue you'll have to deal with is speed. These dogs can become so proficient at this that they'll start to go too fast on the track. And that can create problems. And we'll talk a little bit more about those tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm going to focus on articles, and then we're going to wrap up this basic, very basic tracking series. And then we'll talk about when am I going to do an advanced tracking series, so you want to tune in for that. Okay guys, at least today it's a sunny day. At least today, hopefully I'm not dealing with wind issues in the microphone. You can hear me today. Get out here in the sunshine, take advantage of the weather today, and do some good tracking with your dog. Enjoy it, and I just hope you do as much as I do. And I'll tune in with you guys tomorrow. Get ready to learn articles. Take care.